You guys just you keep coming around. I just keep hearing about you guys.
And I might need to tell Ryan to cut that up a little bit and just put it in my audio for my phone.
First of all, I love the game. I had a passion to play the game, not only football, but I love the game of golf. And what it lends to a person and the friendships you develop on the golf course.
It's been a pleasure being on the drop. I wish you guys all the best down the road.
As someone like you have that golf itch like a lot of us do.
I keep track of you, and you are moving. You are on the move.
So listen, I'm a big New Jersey golf guy. You're very kind, Mike, and you too, Ryan. It's a pleasure to be on just a couple of Jersey boys here talking about something we love. All the best. I really enjoyed it.
This is the Drop Podcast where we talk golfing in the Garden State. I'm Mike Poro, and this is Ryan Coulott.
What's up, Drop Pod people? Welcome back to episode 145. Mike, we have a doozy of an episode. A lot of stuff to talk about. I mean, I'm excited to talk about this episode more so. Sometimes, guys, I just say it just to say it, right? Not this one. We are loaded. So let's jump into the schedule here. Sunday, the 13th. Ryan versus Berkshire Valley came out. I played the front nine. I should say I was on the golf course for the front nine. It was an ugly, ugly round. I've been telling people I feel like I've lost my golf swing. And Mike and I were talking a little bit pre-show here. I don't know. I watched it before we put it out on YouTube, and I don't know who that individual is. It was a bad look. I feel very embarrassed by the state of my golf game there, but also how, I kind of act a little bit like a buffoon on a lot of the video. So I do take that for whatever it's worth. I do apologize if anyone gets super offended. I don't know if anyone's going to get offended by my bad golf game, but the golf game's offensive to the eyes, and honestly, just I said to Mike before as we were talking about it, I don't know who the individual is. That's not usually me. I try to be a little more happy-go-lucky, bubbly, and that's not what you're getting in that, or what you got in that video Sunday. So if you haven't seen it, you want to know what I'm talking about, go watch it. It's out there on YouTube. I will say Berkshire Valley is a great course. It does show well on the video. So, if you want to kind of give a little thumb over the golfer and kind of look at the mountains in the background, you can try something like that. But that came out Sunday, the 13th. Monday, yesterday, the 14th, Mike played Bayonne. Mike, I am so excited to hear about this. We didn't get a chance to catch up after you played it. You had a busy weekend. I had a busy weekend. I'm excited to hear about this, but it's going to be a theme in our episode today. But Mike versus Bayonne came out yesterday. Tuesday, today, the 15th, episode 145. You got Mike and I here. Mike, wave to the camera. We're here. We're live. If you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts, make sure you rate, review, subscribe. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all those things that you do for us that you don't know how much that does for us or how big of a deal that is for us. Speaking of deal, you see what I did there, Mike? Tomorrow, Wednesday, is Ryan versus Deal Golf and Country Club. I was fortunate enough to get out to Deal. The people over there are really great to me, and I am fortunate enough to have some friends that are members there and whatnot. But I was able to get out and play and record the 14th hole out there. So Ryan versus the 14th hole coming out tomorrow. Our interview for this week is Drew Jordan. Drew is the head golf professional.
Director of golf.
Mike, you
missed typo there.
Oh, I missed typo. Drew is the director of golf. I started reading it, but I was like Ron Burgundy there. I only read what's on the teleprompter. I started reading. I go, he's not the head golf pro. Drew Jordan is the director of golf at Hamilton Farm. We're previewing the State Open. It was, it seems like just yesterday the Ike was there, in which Reed was winning the Ike. We kind of talked about that. I wouldn't want to say we previewed the Open, but we definitely talked about it, that it's coming up. But Drew comes on and we talk about the Open coming up and how the course is looking and what he thinks is going to win and how the players are playing, all that kind of stuff. So a big week there as far as the Open coming up here. And then Friday we got a 3-30 with Mike from Bayonne, right? A little carousel of Mike's day. Anyone that's been listening to this podcast for more than 5 minutes knows that Mike has been wanting to play Bayonne since I think you first mentioned it on episode 3, maybe episode 2. So Mike finally did, and I was so happy that you got to, Mike. I lived a little vicariously through your excitement there because I know that that's been your I said it in the last episode. That's been your Moby Dick. That's been your white whale that you've been trying to catch, and for you to be able to jump on there and play that is really something special. I think it also says something special about how that place, how maybe exclusive is not the right word, but how good of a place that is when you got on Pine Valley before you got on Bayonne. So, pretty cool stuff there. But that's our review of the week this week.
Today's episode is brought to you by All County Exteriors, your go-to for roofing, siding, windows, doors, and all things exterior home remodeling. As a third-generation family-owned company with over 40 years of experience, All County has earned the reputation for top-quality craftsmanship and service, far outlasting the industry standard. Whether it's a small repair or a full home upgrade, they serve both homeowners and builders across New Jersey. They're deeply rooted in the community, proudly supporting Make-A-Wish, St. Jude's, Roofs for Troops, and parents of autistic children. Thinking about a project? Now's the time. Get an instant 20% off for a limited time. Call 732-370-2780 or email them info@allcountyonline.com to schedule your free, no obligation consultation. That's 732-370-2780. All County Exteriors. Quality you can trust. So I'm going to try to just fly through the fast facts because there's a lot of things that we need to talk about from the fast facts specifically. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on certain things. So to recap the Genesis Scottish Open, which I'm going to get to in a second, but I do want to talk about Max. Unfortunately, did miss the cut. Okay. I'm not going to talk about the winner. Give me about 2 minutes here. Then we go to the ISCO Championship. All right. That's the alternate event that was going on this week. John Pack was in the field. He did miss the cut. This week, if you don't know and you're living under a rock, the British Open's going on, and I'm going to hit pause there again because in about 3 minutes, we're going to get there.
Open Championship.
There you go. And there's an alternate field event for the Barracuda Championship out in California that John Pack is in the field there. Now, I do want to quickly go down to the Corn Ferry Tour because this week, James did miss the cut. Ryan did finish T61. But you want to talk about an adventurous week for Ryan. He starts out on the second hole in the first round of the championship of the tournament and makes a hole-in-one. Hole-in-one, okay? Terrific. Doesn't happen too often. Unbelievable. Then you go to his third round, and he got an 11 on a par 4. So my man had when I looked at his scorecards, he had every single number from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to jumps to 11.
Wow.
He did make the cut. He made a few bucks, T61, nothing to brag about, but he had an adventurous day.
Checks and snapping necks.
Yeah. And this week, they're down
That's
there.
That's a roller coaster there.
Oh, dude, no idea. And Brian and James are back in the field this week for the Corn Ferry Tour for the Price Cutter Charity Championship. And that's my fast facts because, man, oh, man, we got a lot to talk about today. A lot. And we got to start with Jersey Strong, Jersey's guy, one of the guys that keeps this podcast afloat, the one, the only, Chris Gotterup takes down the giant Rory McIlroy out there at the Genesis Scottish Open. Man, oh man, what a week for our Jersey fellow.
Micah, I don't know how else to describe how exciting that is. Like, he's been on the show. We've been talking about him for 3 years now, giving weekly updates in our Fast Facts. We were talking about Chris before we even started calling it Fast Facts, right? Going through his Corn Ferry experience. Was he even... I think he was in college when we started this. Or did he get his first
No,
year
he had just
finished in
he
May.
just finished.
We started in October. That's what it was. So like we're talking about from our infancy here, we've been talking about Chris, and he's been playing much better golf. We've been talking about him, making cuts and continuing to grow and seeing this growth from him. But there's been some highs and some lows, throughout. No doubt. I mean, it's inevitable that it's going to happen. We've talked about Max and seeing his growth and kind of growing before our eyes here with his post-round interview, finishing second and all that kind of stuff. Like our Jersey guys are representing right now. But man, for Chris to have, and Chris has had, he won in Myrtle Beach last year, again, had some nice finishes, but he's been fighting to get into the FedEx Cup. Like that's been like the next kind of dragon to slay, so to speak, right? Like he didn't get in there last year. Max did, right? So we kind of, if you talk about continuing to grow your career, that's the next step. Man, he hit it in a big way. In a big, big way did he hit it. I like on the sheet, we just have perks. Because, Mike, help me out here. He wins the Scottish Open, and we're going to get into the play because you got to watch it. I was at work, didn't get to watch it, right? So I was just following along on the phone. So you're gonna have to lead us here a little bit. But let me get this straight. Him winning it gets him into the Open Championship this week. It qualifies him for all 4 majors next year. And again, it's a little premature because as we were doing pre-show, we didn't see the official rankings yet, but it should get him into the top 50 of the FedEx Cup points now.
Oh, he's number 39.
And he's got up to 39. So
he's top 50 in the world.
Top 50 in the world. I mean, these are like perks is what we're talking about here.
Listen, I don't think I'm not a Rory McIlroy fan at all. I think I've kind of said it. To me, he's kind of turned into a little bit of a baby and things. So when I saw the final pairing of Rory, Chris, and Wyndham, I know how much Wyndham's a baby because he tried to beat up the Lockers at Oakmont. And I know that Rory...
Hold on, Mike, that's not fair. He did beat up the Lockers in Oakmont.
Okay, so there you go. And then I see Chris, and I'm like, you know what? This is a perfect story for our guy right here. It helps the brand for you and I. When you're talking golf in the Garden State, we've been following this guy, again, like your point, from the very beginning. For him to go toe-to-toe with Rory, and I know people may say, like, oh, he hasn't really done a lot. Well, he's finished inside the top 30 in 8 of his last 9 starts, right? So that's a pretty big deal, including 4 straight top 20s and a career best T23 at the US Open. So it's not like this guy's like barely making cuts, just getting his feet wet. Like, no.
If I made it sound like that, Mike, I do apologize because I didn't mean it for it to sound like that. He has been playing significantly better golf.
Yeah, and I think this win kind of goes to the point of what he said, that he had talked to his team and that they're ready to take the next step. And what better of a stage to do it at the Scottish Open with a lot on the line. And I know a lot of people had reached out to me through text and DM. Well, Mike, what does he have to do to get into the British Open? Like, what does he have to do? Does he have to just win? And the answer was no. He needed to finish in the top 3 of players that were not eligible for the Open Championship. So if you had gone down that list of guys that weren't already weren't already in.
Yeah.
Right. So he just needed to finish in top 3. And he obviously got in because he won. Højgaard got in because he finished T4. He wasn't in. And then the next guy in line was T19. So more or less, as long as he didn't blow up in that final round, he more or less was going to play next week, which is a huge gamble because he had a flight booked to go to California to play at the Barracuda in the opposite field event next week. So now he gets to extend his trip a little bit further, playing in a big time major. First time he's ever playing in this thing. And he's probably one of the hottest golfers that there is. So yeah, so when you say perks, you're talking all the signature events as of right now. If he finishes inside the top 50 FedEx Cup at the end of this year, he will get all the signature events. He's already guaranteed himself the Century out in Hawaii to start the season. He's guaranteed himself the Players Championship, Augusta, the PGA, the US. Like, he's got all these now.
Tour
And
card through 27?
Tour card through 27. So you want to talk about a guy that picked a very good time to win a golf tournament. And I was live tweeting this throughout his round today because I was hot on Twitter, because one of the things, I should say on Sunday, I was live tweeting because I was getting angry that, I don't know if you know this, but they put him on the clock as an individual for slow play on the 15th hole. And they put him on the clock. And I'm like, wow, they're not putting the group on. They're just individually putting him on the clock.
So, Mike, talk to me about how that, again, you're more in that like golf world of things. How do those rules work how do they pick one individual and not the whole group out of that? And then, was he slow playing, or was it he looked for a ball for too long? Like, what was why did they go? It's, again, not having watched it, I'm not really sure, but it seems like they kind of were just like picking him out of this.
Listen, I'm not going to say they weren't picking him out, right? Picking on him. I kind of felt like they were, but I can't lie. People like on Sunday from the Fried Egg were even tweeting out like, hey, Chris is slow. Chris is really moving slow right now. And I kind of thought, well, maybe he's playing slow because there's a lot on the line for a guy like him. Rory's able to just get up and hit shots and move. And maybe he's being a little more thorough, and it is what it is, right? Like, okay, maybe that is, but I didn't like the fact that they singled him out, because on 15, then he hits his second shot way over the green, makes bogey, and now he only has a 1-shot lead with 3 holes to go. And he had said all week in his interviews ahead of time, if you had listened or read anything, that 16 was going to be the most important hole of the tournament for him. That was going to be the most important hole. And the dart that he throws in on 16 to make birdie, okay, to come back after making that bogey on 15, to give himself a 2-shot lead, knowing that all he needed to do coming down his stretch then was go par, and he more or less had this like in the bag. Listen, I kind of loved it. I even tweeted on his.
It takes stones to do that. And Mike, it takes stones not just to do that, to go from so the opposite of a PBFU would be a PBGU, post bogey glow up, right? To go from a bogey to a birdie, right? And you mentioned it, but staring down Rory McIlroy as he's coming for you at the end there in the Scottish Open. Links golf is what Rory grew up in. He's Rory McIlroy, the number 2 player in the world. He's going to the Golf Hall of Fame. I know you're not his biggest fan right now. I still like Rory. He's still Rory McIlroy, whether you like him or not, though. He's still a monster in the golf world. And to go, I think he shot 4 under, to stare at Rory all day and continue to hit golf shots and not fold under pressure, and just, I mean, it takes stones, man. It takes stones to do that. It's a huge, huge accomplishment, a huge stepping stone that he's now overcome in his golf journey, golf world. And like we said about Max a couple weeks ago, Mike, I think this is going to open up the floodgates for Chris to really prove to himself that he's able to do this. He's able to run with the big dogs, and he's not taking steps anymore. Like, hey, I got to get into the top 150. I got to get into the top 100. I got to get into the top 50. I can make the FedEx. I can play he's running with the Bulls now. And I think that this just kicks down the door and kind of is going to allow him to play a little bit more freer. And I think we're going to see, again, like you said, he's been in the top 30 for 8 of the last 9 weeks. I think you're only going to see that get better now as he continues to play freer, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, listen, I'll say this about, and this is a New Jersey thing in my opinion. It's like, you don't pick on people from New Jersey. Not only are we loud and can be obnoxious, but we're also tough. Like, we stick together, we don't back down. And I even tweeted that Sunday that, like, yeah, it doesn't faze him. LFG, after he was put on the clock. And then his post-round press conference, he says, that got my blood going a little bit more than it was already. Now I'm trying to really win this golf tournament, because then he gets up and down. Yeah. And I think that's kind of like, listen, I know I'm playing with two major champions, one big time player, in the world, but I'm a guy that can play golf just as well as these guys on any given day. We know how golf goes. And for him to do what he did, I think it kind of shows that Chris Gotterup has arrived on the PGA Tour, and this is going to get to the point where they say sometimes you got to just win one. Sometimes winning the second one's a little harder to prove people that the first one wasn't a fluke. But I'll say this, I think the best is yet to come for a guy like Chris Gotterup at the age of 25, for the way he hits the golf ball, his credentials. And listen, I am beyond proud that he's a New Jerseyan just like you and I.
New Jersey and friend of the program. Got to say friend of the program too, Mike. Yeah. Again, I just, the vision of just kicking the door down, and he's stamping it and saying, I am here, mother. I'm here to play golf. Yeah, so proud of him. It was so good to see. Really was. Such an awesome
cashed a big time check. I mean, he's in the British Open, which I think we can kind of now talk about because it's here. Are you looking for the perfect place to tee it up this season? Or just looking for a great spot for casual comfort food? Or the most picturesque backdrop for the wedding of your dreams? Then you need to visit Galloping Hill Golf Course in Kenilworth, New Jersey. Galloping Hill has 18 holes of championship level golf open all year round. They also offer a top 50 in the country learning center that also includes the swing suite at Galloping Hill for those bad weather days during the season, in addition to a 9-hole course that is ranked in the top 10 of short courses in the entire country. Galloping Hill is more than just golf. The Hill Tavern Bar and Grill is a gastro pub with seasonal food and beer options updated regularly with amazing views of the course. Hosting over 150 golf outings and over 400 social events per year, their catering team wins awards each year from the Knot and Wedding Wire. Schedule a tour for your special event at the clubhouse at gallopinghill.com. To top it all off, Galloping Hill will be hosting the New Jersey Men's Public Links Championship for the record 12th time. It's all happening this year at Galloping Hill. The British Open week, I mean, I kind of love the fact that I was waking up in the morning and these guys are teeing off 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm able to watch at a perfect time for a guy like me. And this is on. It leads into the British Open. We're at Portrush, where obviously your boy Shane Lowry won last time. I put the odds there for you to kind of look at.
Mike,
and
I clicked on it.
I think it's important that we kind of discuss this now, not later on like I initially thought, because, I mean, I know this conversation about Chris Gotterup, it's like ride the hot hand. Well, I mean, the fact that Chris now has a real chance these final, summer months here leading into early fall, there's a big event here in the tri-state area. And I know this may be a crazy, crazy point because it's recency bias. You're a New Jersey guy. He just won. But man, oh man, can we actually maybe think about the stars and stripes on Chris Gotterup at Bethpage Black for the Ryder Cup? I mean, can we string something together?
That just made me tingly.
Can we string something together right now to really, the dude wins in a loaded field. No one probably,
now, we're not there yet, right? Let's not put the cart before the horse.
We're not.
But does he show out this week? Can you get a top 20, top 10, maybe sneak something in there? Does he continue to play well? You got some elevated events coming up. You got some tournaments in here. Man, it would be awesome to see him get into the conversation of being a captain's pick, right? Like, he'd have to win a few more tournaments, I would think, in order to be an automatic pick, right?
He's outside that. He's not going to get inside.
He's not going to get inside that,
top
right?
six.
Top 6.
He's not going to get inside. Yeah.
Right. I mean, he'd have to win every tournament the rest of the year going into it, right?
He needs to win the British Open to get inside the top 6.
Right. So that's just not realistic. But you're talking about an outside chance now. This really throws his name up the ladder a little bit in the conversation, where it's still premature. We got to see how things play out. But we can start talking about like, hey, if he can string some top tens together, Mike, we got a guy who's hot. And I think, and we've had Keegan on the topic list now for like 3 or 4 straight weeks and haven't gotten to it. But I think Keegan is a captain that is going to go with more of a hot hand than he would a traditional conservative pick, right? And I think his past history with the Ryder Cup is going to be why. But I just have that feeling that he's a guy that's like, hey, you might not be a traditional pick, you might not be the conservative pick, you might not be the in the boys club, right? But like, you're not the typical person, but you're hot right now. And I see that and I recognize it. You're coming on board. Stay hot.
Listen, he picked a great time to get hot. You want to win the Scottish Open. You want to go be relevant at the British Open. And then you got all the FedEx Cup tournaments, the playoffs coming up. Like, he's got a legit chance to make some real big time noise. And as we lean into this Open Championship, his odds have significantly improved. I mean,
I'm looking right now, plus 9,000 to win.
Right. And you know what he was prior to this week? NA, not available. He wasn't in the field.
Amazing.
Right. So you think about who he has better odds than right now. Better odds than Cam Smith, Keegan Bradley, Minwoo Lee, like named golfers that we've talked about for weeks.
Yeah.
So,
when you look, JJ Choi, Justin Leonard.
Yeah.
I went all the way to the bottom in my working.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah. I mean, it's at the very least, Mike, it's cool to talk about. At the very least.
It is.
But let's get back here, talk about the Open here. Who are you liking? Again, you wanted to do DraftKings. You were nice enough to put on the list. I clicked on it. We're going to look at the same odds here. Of this list, who do you like here to make some noise for you in the winner's circle of the British Open?
Yeah, so I mean, we talk about this a lot. Like, picking winners is really, really hard. Rory, to your point, is playing really good golf. I know he finished second last week, and listen, I'm just not a fan of him. I know Scotty going with him looking at the putt where he missed. I don't know if you saw that meme where he had a putt going left to right at the Scottish Open. It didn't break, and he kind of puts both hands up like, how does that not go? Like the everyday guy every single time you play golf.
I'm well aware of that. I know that.
Yeah, I think I would kind of scroll down the list a little bit. I think I'm going to go on a limb right now and say the winner of the 2025 British Open is Matt Fitzpatrick.
Wow. Okay. That is down the list a little bit.
And I say that because
I don't hate it though.
He played really well at the Scottish Open. He was hovering around the leaderboard. He's back to kind of like his neck of the woods over there in Europe and in that neck of, where he plays well in. Not to say he's done it, but he just seems to be playing better golf. But again, at the British Open, it's kind of like the draw. Do you get the good side, the bad side? Is the weather coming in? What's the weather going to be like? But listen, I think Matt is my pick to win. But listen, if I'm a gambling man, I'm sprinkling some on our Jersey guys, Max and Chris, in a heartbeat because, Chris is hot. Max has been playing very consistent all season. I would love to see one of those two make some noise.
I'm again scrolling through this list, Mike, and trying to see some names. Chris has better odds than Keegan Bradley.
I know I said that. Keegan Bradley
Bradley is playing his way onto his own Ryder Cup with how he's been playing lately.
Yeah.
Mike, I love the pick of Matt Fitzpatrick. I really do. So for fun sake of this, I'm gonna give you my 7 winners of the British Open here. Okay, a top 5 of my 7 British Open winners here. It is, like you said, it's tough not to pick Scotty or Rory, but for whatever reason, it doesn't. I don't have real hard faith in Scotty. In fact, at this point right now, I think I would be more fading Scotty than I would be, pulling him up. And on the flip side, I'd be pushing more for Rory because he did play well this week. For whatever reason, maybe he's back home. He's won his Masters, and he's just he kind of got some rest time, and now he's kind of back into playing. I also think he plays links golf courses a lot better than most other people. And because he is a links golfer guy, I do think that in order to play well over there, I think you do need to be more experienced in it, right? So I kind of take out a lot of the Americans here and a lot of the people not from the Isles there. So like, even though John Rahm is the third favorite, I don't love John Rahm this week. I would fade him. I would fade Bryson. I would fade Xander. So the first person that comes up on the list, again, after Scotty and Rory, is Tommy Fleetwood. And I don't hate Tommy winning this. I don't. That's one that I could see there. I could see Tommy playing well and
Tommy's never won a PGA Tour event.
I'm aware.
Ever.
I'm aware.
And,
I know.
Well, that'd be a big first one to win.
It would be a big first one, but he's played well especially this season. So I could totally see that. I could see Ludwig winning this as well. Like I would fade Colin. I would fade Morikawa. I'd fade Victor Hovland. Tyrrell Hatton is never going to win a major. I could just tell you he doesn't. He's just too angry. You can't be that angry and all the time, as you know, evidenced by Berkshire Valley's video. And the other one, again, as I said, I like Tommy. I like Shane Lowry this week. I liked him. What was that for the U.S. Open? I liked him. It was going to be tough. I like him this week as well. So those would be kind of my thoughts, I guess. I think I go Rory, Tommy, Shane. I think one of those guys is going to come out there and make some big time noise.
Yeah, listen, it's going to be a great event. I can't wait to tune in on Thursday morning to see kind of what's going on right there bright and early.
To your point, Mike, you said it. I think we have a really good, maybe something that we should talk about another time, but this feels like it's too early. We still have a month and a half of the summer left, and all the majors are done for the year. So it feels like the timing is a little off here, but a topic for another day. Each major has its own really cool thing that it brings. Augusta, first major of the year. It's Augusta, right? The birds chirping, the piano playing, right? Everyone's all horned up for golf, right? We wanted the major season to get here, right? We got that. That slaps in its own right. Then there's the PGA. Okay. It's a nice tournament. I do think it's 4 of the 4 majors, right? Then we have the U.S. Open. Everybody loves it. The carnage, the toughness. It's got, you're going to these venues that are, classic and historic venues, right? That brings its own gravitas, right? Then you go to the Open Championship. We can watch the entire tournament. I can wake up, have my coffee, and watch golf all day, which is frankly what I plan on doing. So each one of them kind of has their own unique niche to it, which is really, really cool. And I think that's why, and I know I've said it on the podcast here, I struggle with which one is my favorite, right? Still probably say that it's Augusta, US, British, PGA. But man, I get really geeked up when they come around. I really do. I try to stay out of the recency bias, but each one of them has its own really, really cool, really unique features for us. And the fact that we can get up and watch the entire tournament and then still be able to go to the beach and have a full day is great. Or get up early, watch some, do some yard work, come back in, cool off, watch something. Like, you can still watch golf. I think it's great. I absolutely love it, and I think that it's really cool that we can do that. It'd be like what I imagine people in California do on Sundays when they watch football.
100%. Yeah, listen, it's going to be a great week. I can't wait to tune in. And best of luck to our Jersey guys. And again, congrats to Chris on what an amazing Sunday it was for him and his family.
No doubt. Mike, let's jump into yours, because I think this is the bigger of our remaining topics. You got to talk about Bayonne. You got to give me a recap, the round, your thoughts. You have an odd picture here, which I need to know about. Like, talk to me about how Bayonne came about, how the course was. Give me all the details.
Yeah. So let's say, more or less a non-podcast invite came my way to go play. It was one of those things that like you and everybody else who listens has heard me rant and rave about. I don't care what it takes. I'll do whatever. Just let me get a tee time up there with anybody. I'll pay my way. And thankfully I didn't have to pay, no joke, not a dime. So this made it an even better experience when I was there.
Been
Um,
nice.
so when we had like an 8:15 tee time, so you knew me. I was on the road driving at 5:30 because I was going to be the first car up there because I was going to take a tour of this place, right? So I roll in. I roll in at like maybe 6:45. It takes me like maybe an hour and 15 minutes to get up there. And I pull up this unbelievable driveway and I drive a Toyota Corolla, right? Now I'm thinking like they're going to valet my car and go hide it, right? Go put it with the caddies in the caddy lot because you're not going to put this up top with all the other cars of people playing. But whatever, I park my car there. The guys are so kind. They're getting my clubs out and they're like, first time here? I'm like, yeah, first time here. I get out of the trunk and I'm getting some of my stuff. I grab my, shoes out of my car. Where's the locker room? Upstairs, bathroom. I'm like, all right. As I'm shutting the lid to my trunk, I see Mike Greenberg, Greeny from ESPN,
Wow.
pulling up next to me. And he hears me ask the question, where's the locker room? And I hear him say to me, first time here? And I said, yeah, first time here, Greeny. Nice to meet you. He said, nice to meet you. He's like,
Did
yeah.
you call him
You're
Greedy?
gonna- Yeah, I called him Greeny. What else would you call him?
I don't know.
I
I
called
probably
him
freeze.
Greeny.
It's Mike
Oh, yeah.
Greenberg.
I said, yeah, first time here, Greeny. He's like, oh, you're going to have a blast. This place is awesome. And his whole voice, everything sounded just like he was out on the show. We kind of walked in together up the stairs. He kind of went his way to his locker. I just went to where the members' locker was that I was playing with. I get my shoes on, and then no joke, the rest of my group doesn't show up till probably around like 7:30ish, 7:40ish. So I literally have about 40 minutes to myself and I am walking all over. I'm up the stairs. I'm down the stairs. I'm taking a tour out on the putting green. I'm looking around like, where's the driving range? Because I know you get to hit balls into the Hudson River on this little sliver of grass that they have cut out. And I'm like, you know what? I'll take the golf cart. Where am I going?
What?
There's like an island, like a sliver on an island where you hit golf balls. They're floating golf balls into the Hudson River as your driving range. So I take the golf cart and you drive around. There's no carts allowed anywhere on the golf course, only on the cart, on like the driveways. So like any player that plays has to walk. You're taking a caddy, no ifs or buts. Like, doesn't matter if you're medical, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like you just, they don't even have carts for that. So you can drive the golf cart down to like this little island, this peninsula like thing out there. And you take your golf bag onto it and you bang balls from this
you're
island.
on the island or you're hitting to an island?
So you're like on a peninsula.
Okay.
Like, and then you're hitting from this peninsula into the Hudson River. I have a video of it that it'll go out this week.
No, I saw whatever you had posted. I saw, but I guess I was confused by what I was looking at, I guess.
So you bang these balls. So I'm out there hitting balls by myself. There's not a soul out there, right? I'm by myself. I'm having a career day all by myself out there. Finally all the guys show up. I come back to the putting green and, it's about 8:15. We're ready to rock and roll. And I will say this, I was fortunate enough to meet a caddy before I went up there. Travis was my caddy. And I'll say this is, sometimes I know how I can be with certain caddies. And I'm just like, I'd rather a caddy not tell me anything because I'm very particular with my stuff. So, I said to Travis beforehand, I said, listen, I can be a little particular with things and I'll do my best not to be, a knucklehead, and I'll take as much advice as I can. But I will tell you this, like, he knew the ins and outs of that place so well. And probably by about the second or third hole, he knew what my game was. And dude, we were rocking and rolling that whole time out there. There was times I'd hit a shot and he'd be like, all right, listen, take it off this, hit your draw, turn it over. Dude, I'd get up there and I'd just execute. Then he's like, all right, we're on, and I'll give you one example, was like on the par 5 8th hole. It's 565 from the blue tees. And I hit a pretty good drive down the center of the fairway, and I got 245 to carry the Woodard to get it on the green. And I got a little kind of like hurting wind a little bit. And he's like, can you hit your 3-wood in the air that long? And I'm like, I'd have to like rip it. I'm not really sure. And he said, well, why don't we just lay up and make 4 the normal way? And I was like, or I could go for it and knock it on and make 4 that way. He's like, well, it's totally up to you. I said, listen, let's just do all the above. Let's knock it on the green, like I said, and make the 4 like you said. And I freaking career it dead into the middle of the green, 30 feet for eagle, 2-putt birdie. And it was one of those days that, like, I said this to so many people about the amount of DMs that we received from my day there. Like, oh my God, I can't believe you got on. That's all you talk about. That's all you talk about. If you incorporate the golf course, the clubhouse, the lighthouse, the driving range, the people, and the entire facility, it might be the best place in the state of New Jersey. And I know that's a bold thing for me to say because I've been fortunate to play a lot of other spots. But there's something so unique about this place that it met and exceeded all my expectations, which I was nervous about because I had set the bar so high. This place was so good that I even was able to make good buddies with Chris Bergstall, who's the nephew of the owner, Eric, who owns the place.
Wow.
He was the architect of the place, and said to me, listen, anytime you want to come back, you can come back. And Travis said to me on the 18th hole walking up, he's like, listen, I didn't know you were this good at golf. I knew you could play, but I didn't know you were this good. I 2-putt for par on the last hole. I shoot 73. And it was one of those days, like, you couldn't ask to play a better round at a spot you've been talking about for so long.
Yeah, that's honestly, Mike, I was afraid that you were going to, I took the over. I'll tell you right now. I thought that you were
you and everybody else too, which I was so madly disappointed with.
Honestly, and I've told you, I'm going to fire the over every time because it's going to get you fired up. But I was wondering if it would get too big for you. Like the moment would be too big. Like you'd get too excited and like instead of your Mike draw, that it was going to be a Mike hook. And I was worried that you were going to get too quick with it, and I was, again, we didn't get a chance to talk or debrief this. I was so happy that you played well there. I really was, because nothing is more disappointing than like meeting your hero and then they're mean to you, right? And so this is kind of it.
And I'll say this: I started bogey. I started
Wow.
bogey and made
Yeah.
4 birdies. I made 4 birdies on the day. And I think that little video that I put out when I made that bomb on 16 for birdie. And it's funny, the last 3 holes there are called the Bayonne Triangle. It's kind of like the Bermuda Triangle where people get to these 3 holes and they never get out alive. Like everybody throws up. So I said, you'll see on Friday, the 3 and 30 seconds is me playing 16, 17, 18 coming in. And you're talking 453-yard par 4, 423-yard par 4, 415 par 4 straight up the hill. So it was like 3 really good holes. And to see how well I played, listen, it's one of those days, and I said it on the Instagram, it's a day to remember. I'll forever cherish that day as like, wow, this place. You think some places have views. Like you think Galloway has views. You think Liberty National has views. You think all these different spots just stick in your mind. This place is another level. It's another level. And I tell you this, I can't wait to go back because I think we'll be back before 2.5 years of us having to get there the first time happens.
You're saying we'll be back?
You and I.
Let's go.
Okay. So real quick, last thing, because we could have a whole episode on my thing at Day at Bayonne because it was everything. If people have more questions, feel free to shoot us a DM. I'll answer anything you want about it. But you can kind of see that picture that I put in the episode sheet for you specifically, right? You kind of see that little, like, you're wondering what that thing was.
Oh, yeah. The picture,
right?
yeah.
Okay, right, the picture. So every hole That's a
I'll put it in.
picture of
If you're watching on YouTube, you're seeing it now. If you're
Yeah.
not watching on YouTube, go to go to 45-ish minutes or whatever this is, and you'll see the picture.
So that picture is a picture of the green. And where the tee is where the pin is. So sometimes you're hitting a blind shot into the green. So now I know when I go to tee off, this little picture is right there. Now I know when I'm getting up to hit my second shot, if I can't see the green, I already know the pin is in the back left because I saw
this is
the
at
picture.
the tee box?
It's at every tee box.
Every tee box on the entire course
Every
has
tee
this?
box has that.
Interesting.
And it tells you because some of the shots are blind shots. And I do think it's a little bit of target golf, which is perfect for me because you tell me, okay, you got to hit it 240 right here. I'm very good at that, right? You got to hit it 257 here. Okay, I'll hit it 257 here. And I can do that at times. And I'm rolling the flat stick. My putter and I, the Scotty Cameron, we made love a couple weeks ago. And I'll tell you what, we are in sync, him and
made
I.
Up or made love?
Made love. We made love. And I'll tell you this, for all those people that had comments about my putter, this, that, we made love. And I will tell you this, you'll watch some of the videos that come out. Man, oh man, the putter is back to normal. I'm ecstatic. And I'll say this, I loved my time up there. Travis, Chris, they're the best. I can't wait to, you come up there one time with me. I talked to Chris. I said, listen, we'd love to come up there again, maybe in the fall, find a date that him and I can get up there and really get to see this place. Because the one thing I will say, I did play it on a Friday morning, and you know how bad traffic is going south on Fridays. I literally kind of played, grabbed some water, and darted home. The member was kind. He offered us lunch to sit down and have lunch. And I was like, listen, the last thing I want to do is sit in 3 hours of traffic. My wife was cool enough with letting me come up here early in the morning. I don't need to make this into longer than it needs to. So that'd be the one thing that I wish I could sit down and actually enjoy even more so. But yeah, dude, it's a special, special day. I'm glad I played well. I'm glad the golf game showed up. And
yeah, good for
you,
man.
It was a good one.
Really, really happy. That's really special. So amazing. I'm actually glad now that we didn't talk afterwards on Friday and then a couple days over the weekend, because I'm glad I got to hear it with everybody else here, because I'll tell you, that's so cool. I'm really glad. And you said Chris is the guy. Yeah. Travis was the caddy. Yeah,
Yep.
That was very nice of him to invite us up again, and we'll have to take advantage of that for sure, because it's obviously a highly touted spot. I would love to see as well, but I'm just so glad you got to. That was great. Yeah. I really am. Good for you. So on the flip side, there is a place that also in New Jersey, a little further south, I would say. So I'm just gonna give everyone kind of our schedule. Mike, you and I played Shoregate last Monday. We had a late tee time, and I happened to be going to Atlantic City with some high school friends Tuesday, summertime and whatever. So I just kind of organized it where instead of coming home on Monday, I stayed down in AC, talked to Jeff Carswell, our buddy who's the pro there at Seaview. And we were already playing, my high school buddies, we were playing the Bay course on Wednesday. I was like, hey, Jeff, if I stay down, can I play the Pines? Because I've never played the Pines. Played the Bay a few times. We got to play the Bay. Can I get out there and play it? And I don't want to go on for forever, because Seaview's not going to hold a candle to Bayonne. And that's not a knock on Seaview. It's Bayonne is Bayonne, right? I know that they play the LPGA on the Bay course. The Pines course is a better course.
Wow.
It's not kept in better shape. I'm not saying it's in better shape. I'm not saying that it's in that's where they should be playing the LPGA. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying the bones and the track and the layout at the Pines course is a better course. And it's in there. It has the ability to be. It just, for various reasons, it doesn't get the love and support that it needs. But Mike, let me tell you, if they were to put a big renovation in, they need a bunker renovation there for sure, and then fixing things like the cart path is a nightmare at some points. But like if they were to put money into it, I'm telling you, and you're not going to believe me, but I'm telling you, they put $20 million into it. That course is rivaling Galloway. I really
Wow.
think they can. I loved it. I love the layout. It's hard. It has the history. I mean, like, it wasn't terribly long, but I played a par 3 that was 241 yards. And if there was no wind, I would have taken out driver. But I was a little bit with the wind, so I took out 3-wood. I mean, it has the history. It has the uniqueness. It is, I'm telling you, it is really, really, really good. I hope that they can get it into a spot that is more that is people will be like, oh, I went and played there because you said it was a great track. It is. It's got great bones, but it needs a little TLC for sure. And you can only put money into so much, right? The Bay course is the crown jewel, the LPGA. You only have X amount of dollars, right? So you can only pick and choose. But hopefully there's some rumors and some rumblings of some things happening there that they can make that happen. But I'm telling you, if they were to make a conscious decision to say, hey, we need to get the Pines course and we need to get it to a point, I'm telling you, if they were to do a restoration and go all out, put 15, 20 million into it, I really think that they could come up with a golf course that is rivaling Galloway for being down there. It has very similar attributes anyway. It's in the Pines. It's not 30 seconds down the road. I mean, it's really the bones, the layout, the track was, I cannot say enough good things about it. It was so good.
Do we have a rating on it?
Mike, I don't have a rating right now for you on it.
Okay.
I didn't. I just and not for any reason. I just haven't. Just been going. Like I said, played. Then the boys came down. Then we played the Bay course. I'm also. Let's have a talk on air here. I don't know if I'm going to rate the Bay course just because I played it with buddies, so it was a little bit like I wasn't necessarily looking at all the things. It was more of a fun day than like a podcast kind of day. So I wasn't necessarily looking at all the stuff, but I do want to rate the Pines course. I can give you a rating next week, but I honestly just haven't gotten around to it. Just been going. But it was, I do mean it. It is. It was in the greens rolled. The greens rolled really well. I have nothing to complain about the greens, but it just needs love. That's all it needs. It's not like there's anything really bad about it, right? It just needs love. That's all. So, but really cool. Like the Pines was excellent, and that's not to say that the Bay course was bad or anything like that. The Bay course is the Bay course. It's the crown jewel of there for a reason. It's where they play the LPGA. The ladies like playing there. The greenheads are tough this time of year, but other than that, it was beautiful. Really. I think Seaview does get overlooked, and I can kind of understand why. Again, Pines needs love, but they have the ability that if they really wanted to, or if someone were to come into and say, hey, let's make this place be the end all be all of resort golf in New Jersey, I think they could do it. I really do. The hotel is they renovated since you and I were there. They renovated the inside of the hotel. It's got a beautiful entrance now. Our girl Dottie Pepper's on the wall there. The locker rooms they could really turn that place into something really, really special in the world of, I would even say in the world of resort golf. They really could. It's a Troon golf course, so Troon knows what they're doing as far as resorts go. So, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, really, really great day. Big shout out to the whole team at Seaview. I know I mentioned Jeff already, but the outside operations guys, I mean, they're humming on all cylinders there. They really know what they're doing, and everything was great there. I'll use an Atlantic City term. It was aces, couple days there. So, Mike, you got a trip upcoming here. Do you want to get into it now, or you want to save that for next week?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I leave on Monday. Next week, I'm off to Myrtle Beach. So you'll see a lot of different things that pop on the, on social media from there. And, maybe what we can do is next week we can kind of talk about some things, lead into it. I know that first day may not be there, but for
But
the
this will
rest of the
come out
week,
Tuesday, so let's save that for next week. But yeah, you're going
Yep.
down. We got trips coming up, right? I'm
Yeah.
if you follow, if anyone's on anyone sees my personal Instagram, right? I'm reposting stuff from Ireland all the time now. It's the countdown's on. Less than a month. I'm going back. I'm very excited. You got this trip, and we got some stuff coming up. So some big things happening for us in the very near future. So Mike, we'll come back to that next week. You got anything else for the people?
No, I will say this: if you didn't watch, your video Berkshire Valley, go check it out on YouTube. Go hit that subscribe button. Again, those things matter a lot to us. And listen, get out, go play, go enjoy the week. Got some good, decent weather coming up. So
Yeah, we do. All right, so that's all for Mike and I. Stay tuned for our interview Thursday with Drew Jordan, director of golf at Hamilton Farm. Till then, cheers.